Heyo,
Hello, everybody.
we're back.
Yeah, we're back again.
We're
and
always gonna be back.
again and again.
I think we should work on that
Intro. Yeah, definitely. We should
Getting
start.
old. It's getting old, guys.
We're
Like
back.
You're
Oh,
getting
whoa! I haven't even hit my birthday yet. You're already throwing this stuff
Yeah,
over me.
well, let's not talk about birthdays, okay?
Yeah, birthday coming
Okay.
up.
Let's not talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Somebody's birthday is coming up.
How was your week this week, sir?
It was actually pretty good. I like the weather. The weather was
The weather for Easter. Happy Easter to anybody who does celebrate.
yes.
The weather was good for Easter weekend. So that was nice. It was nice to be able to get outside and soak up some of that vitamin D.
It was good and it was shit.
Why was the shit?
Well, we went and helped babysit for Easter.
Mm-hmm.
And we went and did that, and we helped our friends with their grandkids, and that was all good. But our golf cart and our lawnmower
Kapoop.
are both at their house for the trailer.
Yeah.
And we got there, and we're like, well, we might as well start getting them ready for
Trailer season.
because it's
It's coming.
now
It's
27
coming.
days away.
It's coming.
Or 28 days away, I think. So we were like, let's get things ready for trailer season. So we went up, and the first thing we tested was the lawnmower, and
It wouldn't turn on.
it wouldn't start up. So we were like, oh, let's charge up the battery, and let's go from there. So we plugged that in for the charger. We moved a couple of our friends' golf carts out, and then went and got mine, or ours. And first thing I noticed was like the lights wouldn't even flicker.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, okay. And I look at the batteries, and I'm like, they look good. And our friend Ben comes over, and he looks, and the first thing he says is, those batteries are swollen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, they're not. They're good. And then I looked down, and every one of our batteries looked like they were pregnant and frozen. They were frozen chunks of ice. So we moved it into a extremely warm place now. And we left it in there all night. The batteries are still pregnant. And very frozen, or not frozen, but they're
Rumor
swollen.
has it our batteries are pregnant.
Yeah, rumor has it. I don't know how they get pregnant by other golf cart, but but that all those batteries were kaput. We got pricing on those, $1,200. Yay us!
Mm-hmm. So
we're $1,200 already in the hole,
yeah,
and then
moral of the story: don't buy batteries. They don't last forever.
And then we went up and the next day to check our lawnmower,
And that battery was kapoop too.
And that battery was kaput too. So we're now $1,300 in batteries down.
Yeah.
And the season hasn't even started.
No, we've actually we're not totally putting it off as of we are putting it off for right now because we're like, well, we have a month.
Yeah.
Right? But it's definitely something that needs to be fixed, which sucks on our part. People always wonder why I never like my birthday. These are reasons why. Because we normally have to fork out a lot of money between March and May.
The golf cart will get fixed prior to us going in the park.
Oh, will it be?
It will be fixed within the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
I will make sure of that.
Honestly, guys, it's been it was nice. Easter weekend was nice.
Yes, it was.
We will say that.
Except for the financing situation.
Yeah. Easter weekend was nice. Thank you, Jen, for making us supper. That was great.
Was amazing.
We honestly didn't do too much other than that for Easter. We just kind of chilled out. But on top of that, we are slowly going into being more stressed about life. And financing and stuff. we all know it's tax time. It's tax season. It's the most wonderful time of the year for the government.
It's look at a new trailer season.
Yeah. And then like on top of that with wedding planning and stuff. It's I feel as if I was hoping as months went on, the stress would get easier, and I feel like I'm slowly spiraling.
No, it's only going to ramp up from here until August.
Yeah.
Then August hits, and then
I can't wait till like October.
well, actually, we talked to a tax person, so that was actually a really good conversation.
It was very eye-opening. If you are a business owner, I would highly suggest going with an actual tax company or like accountant, something like that, to do your taxes, because there's extra steps that need to be done as a self-employed person. And plus they're going to do our personal taxes as well. So it's kind of good
like
for us.
his good line yesterday, and I really liked his line. And he said, all Canadians are in debt. And if they're not, they're lying.
Yeah, we are all in debt, and the government of Canada has definitely not helped out our situation.
No.
We've all been in debt for a few years now, since the good old COVID. I don't think that helped anybody. I think it's just made it worse for everyone.
Like he said yesterday, and I agree with his comment, every Canadian is in debt. And if you're saying you're not in debt, you're a big fat liar.
Oh, for sure.
Your pants are on fire.
Again, the only reason you would be out of debt is because you just paid off all of the debt you were in, or you're just starting out your adult life.
Now, guys, I'm not saying that you guys are millions of dollars in debt, hundreds of $1,000 in debt.
No, it could be $1,000.
It could be $1,000, but you have either credit, like he said yesterday, you have credit card debt, you have mortgage debt, you have loan debt, you have other stupid things. Debt. He goes, but all Canadians are in debt, and if they say they're caught up on every bill, they're lying, or they're like a 1% person.
Oh, for sure. Very much is, like, all of that is true. Really, almost everybody has at least one credit card, and majority of people have a car loan.
We know somebody who has like 7 credit cards.
Oh, we do. We do. I personally do not. I have 2, 3. I lied. I have a third.
I just got a credit card.
That is my US credit.
I just got a credit card, so.
You have your 2 credit cards. So like, yes, we really together we have 5 credit cards, but we try and keep up with those payments.
We don't use
them.
But
again, guys, we are all in debt.
we don't use them pretty much 95% of the time. The only time we use them is when we're either booking trips, paying for a wedding venue, or when we're on vacation. That's the only time we use our credit cards.
And then obviously like online
Amazon
shopping. Yeah, online shopping. But we try and pay that off as soon as we're buying it. We're kind of...
And that's where our credit cards get the most work, is Amazon.
Amazon is a great place to be.
Yeah.
So, as we stated, Canadians are all in debt.
Yes.
And I want to partially blame, the school education system that we have.
Yeah, I would agree. The school system from when I grew up to your generation to now has failed us. And I would even use a stronger word, but I'll go with failed right now. Has completely failed us as humans, us as adults.
School wants to go on and talk about how they teach you all of these things that you need to know to get a job, to get a career, but nobody actually talks to you about real life issues and problems that occur when you buy a house, buy a car, and all the things that go in with even like what we were talking about with credit and how important it is to pay off your debt.
Like, I don't know what they're teaching now, so it could be different. I'm not a teacher.
I don't think they still are teaching
But
anything
like
about it.
when I was growing up, it was all about like 2 plus 2, 4 plus 4,
Fractions.
fractions, that stuff.
Yeah.
There was never like X times Z equals WXYZ. Like, yeah, that was important, but like we never learned about income ratio or interest rates or any of that stuff. Like, and I think that should be a term in your like math program that you have to learn about, like income ratio, interest rates, because it's going to help you in the future when you get out of high school, university, because now you need to get a job. Now you need to pay off your student loans if you went to university or anything like that. So you gotta know everything.
And anybody who's going to try and come at us and be like, well, you can learn that stuff, you're just not taking the right classes. Even to take those classes, you're waiting till high school before you can take those classes. So you've already failed us when it comes to elementary and middle school, because you should already be learning about those things. Like, they teach you the basics of money in elementary school and then really nothing else.
I want to blame it on the parents too.
Oh, it's for sure parents' fault.
Because like some parents buy their kids cars when they get their license.
And
And,
pay for
and they
everything.
pay for the loan, they pay for the insurance and stuff like that. Maybe it's something like we do for our kids is, yeah, we'll get the car for them, but they have to pay the loan. They have to, because they don't know about their credit rate. They don't know anything. And I'm finding a lot of kids, I'll use the word kids, but it's more younger adults are coming out of school now and they have no credit.
Well, and that's part of the issue. Like, you saying blame the parents. It is partially parents' fault, but it's the parents' fault also because they never actually learnt themselves.
No, they
So
didn't.
like, it's just a bad cycle of nobody learning how to properly deal with finances in the home.
Oh, it's horrible. Because like my parents never taught me anything. I don't want to say my parents were horrible, but really they didn't even teach me the power of money or the power of loans or anything like that. I had to learn it myself.
Well, the only reason I know anything about money, and my parents would say they always thought I was good with money, was because I knew how to save, and I pretty much would be that type of kid that would get $20 and go and hide it in their bedroom. And that's how I would save up all my money. But like, for the most part, I think my parents are only more learning about finances now in their 50s. So it's scary to think that there's so many people in the world who don't know the basic things to know about income ratio,
Interest rates.
Interest rates, how to pay something, what you need for it. Because like, even housing, like, people say you need about a 20% down payment, and really they're saying now that you need more than that. That's just the bare minimum.
Yeah. Some places want 30, 40% right up front. But like, for me, I was 40 years old before I had a credit card. My own credit card. 40 years old before I even had one. My first car, I paid for it. But as far as I know, the loan was in my parents' name.
Well, and I find a lot of older generation people, like, I'm not saying you're old, but your generation and before you guys, there wasn't really a way of financing a car. You just paid out of pocket for that car you had.
I can tell you now, I was well into my military career before we went and got my own first vehicle that I bought myself.
That you financed.
That I financed. And the person literally looked at me and was like, you have no credit at all. So you can only get, I think I wanted an F-150. And all I could get was like a Hyundai Elantra because I had no credit in the world at all.
No credit is bad credit. Unfortunately, as much as people don't realize, no credit is bad credit. It's just as bad as having bad credit.
I made a shit ton of money, but I just didn't have the credit.
And that's where the ratio, the debt to income ratio comes into because you have the issue that, yeah, sure, you have income, you have all this money, but there's no proof that you've ever paid any debt or anything to see that they can trust that you will pay that money back.
And there's a lot of other things, but there's different types of debt. So there's
car loans,
credit cards, house payments, trailer loans, personal loans. And they all have different interest rates on them.
They all affect your credit differently.
They all affect your credit differently. Let's just compare a house and a trailer. A house you can get at 5.99 interest rate pretty much all the time, and hopefully below. A trailer, you're lucky if you're getting that number, but yet you can put the trailer
for as long as you can put a house.
As long as you can put the house, with
a trailer, I find with a trailer you're getting those interest rates as a car. That's why it's an auto loan, right? But you can put it towards, you can finance it as long as a house, which doesn't make much sense to me. It should simply be you're either an auto loan or you're a house loan.
But then, your auto loan, compare auto loan and trailer. Auto loan, the longest you can go is an 8-year term. And that just came in now, in the last couple of years. You've been only able to get an 8-year loan. I think we got 7 on the Jeep.
I think we either got 5 or 7, yeah.
We either got 1 or 2 on the Jeep. But yet the trailer falls under an auto loan and I can get it for 20 years.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make too much sense. And a lot of financing things do not make much sense. Another one you had mentioned was credit cards. And this is where everybody pretty much has a credit card nowadays. It's normal to have a credit card. But there's a lot of things that can come with a credit card depending on the credit card you get, what kind of interest rate you have. Always look for low interest rates on your credit cards. Never go for something high because that's just a hot mess.
I find the more things you get out of the credit card, so if you get money back or you get this, you get that, you get this, your interest rate is going to be higher.
Don't ever go for store credit cards. So you know how Walmart will have their own credit card?
Those are...
Costco will have their own credit card. Those normally have the worst interest rates.
And we're in Canada. And house. So...
house. A house, guys. A house here in Canada costs your first and second born.
Third.
Your husband or wife.
Yeah, it's to the point now that you have to be making pretty much $200,000 each to be able to afford a home.
At least, yeah.
And tell me that's not stupid, because that's $400,000 coming in a house, and you're still struggling to get by on things.
Everybody is struggling to get by nowadays.
Has Canada made this system easy? No. Do I blame it on the powers that are in?
Yes.
Do I blame it on previous powers? Possibly. Do I blame it on the one that's in there now? Yeah, I'll blame it on that one for sure because they haven't done anything. But like nowhere in the world, like we looked at it the other day. We can go to Texas, pretty much buy a mansion for 300 and something thousand, so it equals out about $500,000 Canadian. But it's a mansion. It was like a 6-bedroom, 10-bathroom,
It was
3-bay
like two
garage.
of the houses we have, and the house that we're in is what?
About 3,000 square feet.
Exactly. And that's at, I think people around here are selling them for about 9.
So that house down there was like, I think close to 6,000 square feet, 3-bay garage, 6-bedroom, 10-bathroom. And it was 311,000, I do believe. Like beautiful inside, beautiful outside. But yet you come to Canada. We live 2 hours away from Toronto. So we're not even close to the city.
No.
And the cheapest house in our neighborhood is like $950,000.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I know it has to do with like housing issues and we don't have enough housing. But if we don't have enough housing, why are you bumping everything up when nobody has anywhere to live anyways?
I also want to blame, like, I kind of don't want to blame it, but you kind of have to. You got to blame it on the foreigners coming in, buying the houses.
And splitting it.
So they can buy one house, split it 10 ways.
But that's also really sad to think that that's something you have to do. You literally have to move in with your mother, your father, probably your in-laws, or, you know, your brother and sister. You guys all have to live in a house together to make ends meet because nobody can afford to have a house by themselves.
It's sad, but it hurts too because then they're going to go turn around and sell that house for pretty much twice what they bought it.
And that's what a lot of them do. They all come in together. They'll move into the country together. They will pay for that house together. Once they pay off that house, then they find another house and they start paying off that one. Like whoever's left kind of goes in, pays it. And yeah, it's smart for them because then they can have 3 houses that are paid off and they can each live in their own. But it sucks for the people like us who are like, well, we're looking at a good 5 to 10 years before we could buy a house.
We, like in our neighborhood right now, in the, let's say, 5 houses around us, I don't think there's one house here besides us that it's just like a husband and wife.
A lot of people have their parents with them or a roommate.
Like literally straight across the house, straight across the road from us is a family and they have 6 people living in the house and they're all adults and like that's 6 people in one house contributing to one bill. And they're selling due to they say they can't afford to re-up their mortgage.
Yeah. And that's a whole nother thing. Like that is something that I would have loved to learn about was mortgages when I was in school.
Like I can't blame it on everybody because we allowed it. Us Canadians allowed foreigners to come in, buy the houses, and pretty much jack the prices up. We did, but...
And then obviously the government didn't help with all the payments they give us.
Correct.
When they shouldn't. But really another person or another group of people you need to blame for all of this is us. Us actual Canadians, us working Canadians who allow it all to happen, but also try and make it seem like they can continue to push through it and they can continue to afford it.
Correct.
Meanwhile, everybody's in debt because everyone's trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Well, that's a big one. Like, keeping up with the Joneses. It's a big one because
And don't tell me you don't try to at some point in life. Everybody does.
you want a brand new, you want that brand new truck, you want this brand new Jeep, you want this brand new something.
You want those pants at Lululemon.
Exactly. But
you
like,
go out to eat.
and like we know them from, they're more of acquaintance than anything. They max themselves out on personal loans to keep up with the Joneses. And I think that's a big issue with Canada is we get so many personal loans just so we can keep up with the Joneses when we should be just going,
I can't afford that.
I can't afford this.
Yeah.
I can't afford that.
I need to reevaluate.
Why
my
do I
budget.
need to get a 10 grand loan?
Yeah. Everybody needs to be on a budget. Honestly, I think it's one thing that is so important for everybody. Everybody needs to figure out what they actually need to spend money on and what they don't. Because you can still spend money. Like, we're not saying that, you should just focus on paying all your bills and that's it. Obviously, there's times where you're going to want to go out. You're going to want to hang out with your friends. You're going to want to go out and eat. Things like that. That's still allowed, but that's why you budget for these things.
I also find Canadians were never taught, because I don't know if you were taught it when you went to school, how important paying your debt off, how important to pay more than your minimum payment on your credit card.
That's one that a lot of people have issues with. Everybody's like, oh, no, I paid my minimum payment on my credit card. Okay, you paid the minimum payment. But what about the rest of the money? Well, you can't just pay your minimum payment every month and expect that you're going to get out of debt. You need to pay more than your minimum payment to get anywhere in life.
Like, missing a credit card payment is not a huge, I shouldn't say missing it, being late paying it so you can pay a little
if
extra.
If you're only late for like 1 month, it's not going to affect your credit score. But when you're late for 2 or 3 months at a time, that's when they ding you.
But like the credit card's not the big one because they're going to ding you.
Yeah.
But they're not going to ding you hard.
No.
But if you got a personal loan, you got a car loan, you got a trailer loan, you got a mortgage, you miss by 1 day.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to ding you. So I don't know this for personal reasons, but I know this because of people I've talked to. You miss one payment and it affects you for 7 years.
And any missed payment stays on your report for up to 7 years.
Up to 7 years. But you miss one. That, like, if you miss a couple in a row or late on a couple in a row, that's not coming off for pretty much 8 years. So it is very important to pay be on time with your mortgage, your trailer payments, your car payments, everything like that.
If you can only afford to pay your minimum payments,
that's fine.
Pay those. But at some point during those months, if you look in your account and you go, you know what, I can afford to put an extra $100 on each thing, do that as well.
And like, if it takes you all year to save up, let's say $100 per thing, do you know the bank will look at you and give you better credit rating due to you're able just to do $100 extra? If you can do a whole new payment, like an extra payment a year, they love you even more.
Yeah.
But if you can put $100 on a loan, on a mortgage, on whatever, you can put $100 each year extra. It shows that you're willing to pretty much give up something
to pay this back.
This back quicker.
Yeah.
So they'll actually up your credit.
Yeah. And when it comes to car payments, credit cards, trailer payments, whatever payments you're doing, guys, just because you paid them off does not mean you should go out and get a new one. Or like in the fact of a credit card, even if the bank is offering you more credit, it's not always smart to take it if you can't afford to take it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same as a trailer or a car or a house. Just because you just finished off paying off your car payment does not mean you should go, oh, maybe I should go get another car. You should wait. Take that money that you had, that you were paying that car for, take that money each month and put it towards a different debt and pay off your other debt before you create more debt for yourself. Because it's just an evil cycle.
Yeah, it is. Like for a car, I'm a firm believer. If the car is costing me more a year in upkeep than it is, let's say another car loan payment.
Sometimes that will make sense. Yeah.
Like my ex-father-in-law would only buy cheap cars, like $1,000 cars, used old cars. And he'd then spend like $3,000-$4,000 a year to like
fix it
up, or
and what's the point?
The
then?
fan went, or this went, the battery went, whatever went. He'd spend all this money to fix it, like get it better, so he could drive it around. Where he could have went and bought like a used one at a dealership or a brand new one and pay the same payment.
And have a reliable car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like it's all about, like you said earlier, the Joneses. Do I want to keep up with the Joneses? No. I'd rather have something very reliable.
Now, is there sometimes that even we sit there and look and we go, oh, I really want that because everybody else has it? Just example.
I did not want that.
I did not want it either. I had won it, so I'm drinking it. But a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's only $40. Let me go get it. Don't. Because you have 700 other water bottles sitting in your cupboard that you could use. Another thing, just I want to touch on this as well, is so a couple weeks ago we were at our friend's place. They had informed us that they got a bill from Rogers for like $900 or something. It might have been $600. I can't remember. I think it was
it was $600.
It was one of the two numbers, okay? And they didn't understand why. And when they figured it out, it came to be that it was for a cell phone. So a lot of the time nowadays, when you go and get your cell phone from Rogers, Bell, wherever you get your cell phone, you're normally paying, like, you're either leasing it like a car or financing it like a car. Why are you financing or leasing a $1,000 phone?
Some people can't afford it.
And hey, straight up, you did. You did finance your phone. But in their case, they didn't actually realize they were leasing it. They thought they were financing it, so they got charged the rest of the amount for the phone when they didn't return it. They didn't realize that. So like that sucks for them. But like, don't go out and buy a new phone every 3 years because a new phone came out and you have to have the new one.
Yep.
There's no need for that. We're still working on like iPhone 12, I think it is. I think we're on iPhone 12s. And I think we're coming out to iPhone 15 or something.
I think we're 11.
No, I think we're 12.
I think we're 11, but
I'm almost positive we are iPhone 12 Pro, and I think you have the 12 Pro Plus. But either way,
I don't know.
Either way, when it came down to us buying our phones, he financed his. And I think he ended up paying more out of pocket because you financed it because of interest. I purchased mine outright. And I never had to deal with all those extra payments that he had to deal with.
We just got together when that happened.
Yeah. But guys, don't buy a new phone and finance a new phone and then in 2 years go, I need another phone. You don't need another phone. The phone you have is perfectly fine. If there's nothing wrong with it, don't get a new phone because that would be just like keeping up with the Joneses.
We know somebody, and is a fairly good friend of ours, who, does he want to keep up with the Joneses? Not completely in his life, but in his truck. He's had I think we're now going on 5 trucks, 7 years, because he wants all the latest and greatest technology in in his truck.
Mhm.
And like, do I want a new truck? Hell yeah, I want a new truck. Do I have a good, reliable Jeep downstairs? Yes.
And does it make sense to get a truck right now? Do we really need it? No.
If we get a new trailer, do we need a new truck?
No.
Yes. But do we need it right away? No.
We only need a new truck in the case that we were to tow our trailer around. If we're just parking it, then no, we don't really technically need one. It's just something he wants.
But like, I know some people who have had 2 or 3 trailers in the last couple of years. They want to keep up with the Joneses in the trailer world.
Or they bought one trailer, they thought it was great, and then the following year they're like, oh, well, I want a different trailer because they never thought through their purchase.
But I want a lot of people to realize this. The trailer world is still like 10 years
Behind.
behind. Like, yeah, they got Bluetooth in there now. But like, there is no trailer company out there that I know of that has Blu-ray player in it. It still has DVDs.
Well, actually, I think they kind of skipped the Blu-ray section and just went to smart TVs.
Correct. But like, there is no trailer. I don't know of a company, and Cass can tell you, I do my research on trailers. There's no company out there that I believe has Blu-ray player in there as like a disc thing. It's a CD, still the DVD or CD player. So like, that's generations behind. That's early 2000s.
Do the Gen Zs even know what a CD is or a DVD?
So like, they're at least 10, 20 years behind. Why are you keeping up with the Joneses in the trailer world when they're still, like, I understand if they were coming out with the latest and greatest technology in a trailer. I understand keeping up with the Joneses there if you're keeping up with the latest and greatest technology. But you're 10 to 20 years behind? Screw off.
Yeah.
What do you need a new trailer for?
Yeah.
We do, because ours is falling apart.
Ours is falling apart, but honestly, we may end up keeping it for another year. We haven't actually fully decided because even for us, financially wise, right now,
We're
kind of playing tennis with a lot of things, and we haven't fully decided if we're ready. As much as we need a new trailer, is it the smartest decision for us at the moment? We don't know yet. We are still in discussions. There is other things that are kind of taking control right now and where our money needs to go towards. So it may have to be something we may have to wait another year for. We're figuring it out. We're trying to work through things. We're trying to budget ourselves out, and that's why, like we say, budgets are so important. Nobody's ever perfect with their budget either. There's going to be times where you're going to mess up or you need to put out money for something else, and that's fine. It's just try and control what you're really spending your money on and think about what makes the most sense for your life.
Yeah, and like, for us, well, I shouldn't say for us. For Canada. Canada's in debt.
Canada is totally in debt.
Completely in debt.
And we all know this because I've heard about lots of stories about people telling people about how, like, the CRA has come after them for money that they owed 5 years ago. That's how bad Canada is in debt.
I personally think it's the 2 idiots that's in charge now.
We're not going to name names.
The finance minister and the prime minister.
You guys can figure it out.
You can figure those out. She's also the deputy prime minister. So the 2 idiots that are in charge now, I think, is a huge reason why Canada is in so much debt and why they've released their pit bull, which is the CRA,
to get everybody's money from them.
To get everybody's money. And they're not willing to retract anything. We watched a video the other day. A girl has separated from her husband. Or
Her
no, they
boyfriend.
boyfriend.
Yeah, they were boyfriend and girlfriend.
And they've been separated for 4 years now. And
They broke up 4 years ago,
he
guys.
is with somebody else, has bought a house with somebody else, has had a truck with, has bought a truck with somebody else, and has now a child with somebody else. She woke up with an email from CRA saying that there was an important message in her inbox, and the important message was that she owed $86,000.
Because they didn't believe that the two of them actually broke up, and that they, because she had filed separate, or, well, single, I should say, the CRA did not believe that they were actually separated. Meanwhile, all of those things that the man is doing with another woman and has a kid, and she still had to sit there, and both of them had to prove that they were not living together, that they had broken up, that all their finances were separated, blah, 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 blah. To come to find out, they listened to all his side of everything, and he was fine. But they still told her that she still owed this money because they didn't believe her. How does that make any sense? But this is the stuff that's going on with the CRA.
And she is now fighting the CRA in court. So it's going to be interesting. Like the prime minister, the vice prime minister, treasurer, or the finance minister need to get their head out of their ass.
Wake up and smell the roses, man.
And realize that Canada is big, strong, independent by itself. Stop giving away our money and start giving it to the people, and stop going on effing trips that it's costing us Canadians so much that you need to go CRA and get CRA to start collecting money from people.
So now we're now in debt because of them, which now that we're in debt, they want us to pay this money back to them. But then also, here, let's inflate all the prices of everything.
Carbon tax.
And add this new carbon tax that just came in.
2.0.
Yeah. You're going to do all of this. How do you expect us to pay for any of it? All we're going to do is people are going to the banks and going, I need help. I need that loan. Which now they're going to owe you even more money. Like, where does the circle end?
I personally believe they're trying to bankrupt Canada. That's my personal belief. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but how does one prime minister, and here's the little rabbit hole that I'm going to go down, and then I'm going to end it because I don't want to go down too far. How does one prime minister have so much kickbacks to the point that when you got in power a little over 8 years ago, well, more than 8 years ago, you got in power and your net worth, your complete net worth, and that was with your ex-wife and 2 kids, 3 kids, whatever.
Are they divorced?
Yeah,
already?
they're divorced now.
Wow.
However many kids you got.
Okay. Continue.
Yeah, I'm not even going on there. Your father, Fidel, or Pierre, which you choose, which your father is.
Okay.
Your net worth was $300,000. $300,000. That was your net worth a little over 10 years ago. How is it over 33 million now? How the sweet Jesus in 10 years did you go from 300,000 to over 33 million dollars as your net worth? Maybe we should CRA should look into that. But I digress because.
But I'm sure there's investigations that are going to go on there.
After
we are not the investigators for that stuff. We are just making you guys aware of the things that we've been hearing, that we've been seeing. And on that, we are going to end the topic and play a game.
All righty.
Okay, so this game, we're going to brighten things up. I shouldn't scroll up too far because then you'll know the answers.
Okay, do you want me to look this way?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Okay, so we are doing a true and false
Okay, I'll look down.
questionnaire, let's say. Now, we can both guess on these because
Okay.
I don't remember what the answers are, to be completely honest with you.
Okay.
So we'll start with our first question. It says true or false.
Okay.
You should check your credit report once every few years.
I'm going to go false.
I'm going to go false as well.
You should be checking that thing like
Well,
once a year, at least once a year.
Okay, let's see what the answer is. Make sure we're right or wrong. Okay, the answer is false.
So we were correct.
We were correct. Guys, everybody's going to tell you something different. Check your credit report at least once a year, especially nowadays where it's basically free to do it. You don't have to pay money to get your credit report, to get your credit score, everything like that. You should know what's going on in your credit.
Credit Karma.
Yeah, Credit Karma.
This podcast was brought to you by Credit Karma.
Let's not say that until we can confirm that would be happening. Maybe it's somebody we should reach out to. But
As
no,
a joke.
there is places like that. Even your banks do it nowadays. Like I know I'm with Scotiabank and I have a little spot that I can go in and I can check my credit score and my credit report. So I would say you should check it at least once a year. I normally I check mine almost weekly, if not monthly, to be honest.
Look at you.
Yeah, I like to keep intact with everything. Our next question, true or false? Paying more than the minimum amount on your credit card each month can help you save money and pay off debt faster.
I'm going with
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely true. I think we kind of touched on that with our whole thing. Let's find out. True.
True.
Question 3.
Mm-hmm.
True or false? Ideally, your emergency fund, emergency savings, should have at least 6 months worth of expenses.
I'm going to go true here.
I'm going to go true as well because I think you should have at least 6 months.
I think you should have a year.
I think personally, yeah, you should be looking at about a year of expenses, but I know that's hard to get to. Let's find out our answer. It is true. Look at us. We're 3 for 3.
And guys, by that one, I'm just saying, like, you should be able to. We say a year. Mm-hmm. Now that's us personally. Your emergency fund should at least be able. If you can only do a month,
Do that.
do that. But make sure that you can gain enough in the next month to be able to cover another month if something happens.
Yeah. Always, and that's why we always, like we touched on budgeting. When you budget, if you budget out properly, you can start taking money and putting it towards a savings account. So you're not living paycheck to paycheck.
We know a couple who is going through this situation right now.
Mm-hmm.
Team Jake. What is it? What are we going into now? Day 80.
I'm not sure.
I think it's 86, 87. One of our friends, kids, his heart stopped. And he was rushed to the hospital. A little bit of brain damage. That's in God's hands there, but they are now day 86 of not being able to go to work because they're in the child and mother and father are in now a complete different province of the one that they live in because there is no child's hospital. Yes, there is a Janeway in Newfoundland, but the closest like really good child's hospital is in Nova Scotia, and they have to be in Nova Scotia. So they're now day 86. So
It's now been almost
having an
3
emergency
months.
fund is really important.
Yeah, it is. It's something you should definitely work towards instead of buying that designer bag. Let's
completely.
continue on. Question number 4. True or false? It's okay to skip a payment now and then as long as you eventually pay it.
False. It's never okay to skip.
It's false, yes.
It's never okay to skip a payment.
And the answer is false.
False.
So we're 4 for 4. You should always pay. You should always make your payments on time.
At least the bare minimum.
At least the bare minimum. Question number 5.
Mm-hmm.
True or false? Carrying a balance on your credit card boosts your credit score.
They say this is true.
I think it's false.
I think it's false too, but they say it is true.
Our answer is false. And guys, even though people say it's better to carry a balance, they definitely want you to be paying off your full balance. They don't want you owing money to them. So it's definitely false.
But when the credit bureau is looking, or the Treasury Board is looking at your credit file and your credit cards are at 0, you will get a better credit score than if you've got money on them.
They
Just
can
so you
see
know.
that you're being responsible with your credit, with the money that they're giving you. They can see that you're responsible with it, and you're making that your number one priority. Okay, next question. True or false? A credit score of 550 is considered good.
False.
And the answer?
It is in the good category. But actually, is it good? No.
No. I have the wrong answer here too, because a credit score of 550.
Anything in
Oh
the
wait, we read that question wrong. Oh no, we didn't read that
No,
question wrong.
we didn't. But anything
Okay.
in the 500s is not,
Even
in the eyes of lenders, is not good.
and every company, anybody who has like credit, like even banks, whatever, credit bureaus, they all look at credit a little differently too. So Credit Karma might tell you you're in the good category,
But you're not.
but your Scotiabank app might tell you you're not.
So they say 620 to 700 is good.
is decent credit. They
You're-
say you should have more than above. Anything under 700, it seems like nowadays
Cosigner.
you need cosigners. And like that wasn't always a thing.
And like, we know people,
Mm-hmm.
because they've went and did it this year, that have a high credit score
Like
in the 800s.
800s. And they still
And they wanted extra money from them
to guarantee.
to guarantee. And I was like, are you kidding?
Yeah. So it is, I think that was more of a income to
Possibly.
debt ratio. Even though they had the good credit, I think because they had so many things on a form of credit or a loan, I think that's where the extra money had come in. They just want to
Yeah.
they want confirmation that they would get their money, right? So 550 is not a good
No.
credit
It-
score.
It might show it, but it's not.
But it doesn't.
It's growing.
Not the end, but it's not the end of the world. It really isn't. You can get your credit score back up, and depending on what kind of debt you're in, it could take you 7 years to do it, or it could take you a year. It really depends, right? True or false? Good credit will get you whatever you want.
No. False.
That is false. Like we had just stated with the example you had given, sometimes just because you have 900 as your credit score does not mean that you're guaranteed to get everything you want.
Nope.
You still have to have proof of how you're going to pay for that, which is an income
Yep.
of some sort. So now, since we pretty much got all those questions right, I think we got them all right.
Okay.
We have some questions for our viewers.
Okay.
And you can answer them if you want as well. Now, we have questions that you should be asking yourselves. For our viewers, for us, these are questions that you should always be asking yourselves to make sure that you are making financial decisions.
Sound. Financially sound decisions.
Okay, there you go. Perfect. Some of the questions. Can you only make the minimum payment on your loans? If so, then it's probably not something you should get. You should be able to make more than your minimum payment.
If you, it depends on what it is. You can make minimum payments on like every loan, and that's fine. But if you've got a credit card or you've got something else like that, your minimum payment is normally just what the interest is.
Yeah.
So if you're just paying your interest,
You're not getting anywhere.
you're not getting anywhere.
No. And that's why, if you can only make your minimum payment, say no to that credit card.
Yep.
Simple fact. Are you skipping certain bills to pay off others? If so, don't do it.
I
Obviously, if you're doing it already, that's fine. You got to do what you got to do. But always try and make at least those minimum payments. But don't go out and get other things if you're going to have to skip one of your payments.
if you've got to have a come to Jesus moment and talk about how you're allocating your paycheck to pay all your bills off, and by the end of it, you have $36 of your paycheck. Yeah, you shouldn't skip certain bills.
Another question, something that everybody should think about. Are your cards maxed out? If they
Depending
are,
on what time of the year it is.
get them down. Christmas is a major thing for people. A lot of people
Trailer season.
max out their cards around Christmas time just to show people they love them. Don't do it.
Just get that. And people keep their credit cards maxed out to be the Jones.
Yeah, and that's why. Instead, pay off your credit cards.
Yep.
Don't keep them maxed out. And another question, are you living paycheck to paycheck? If so, you need to switch that up. You need to figure out how you can live a little bit more soundly.
Correct. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, there's got to be something you got to fix.
Whether that means
and there's
shopping.
other ways to do it. If you've got to go get a personal loan and or consolidate your loans and lump them all together, or do something so it's one payment and you're getting a little extra money every month, do it. Because in the long run, it's going to help you. But never live paycheck to paycheck, because living paycheck to paycheck, if something comes up,
You're
somebody
screwed.
dies,
You're screwed.
anything like
Yeah.
that, you're screwed.
That's why we say emergency funds are always so important.
Yep.
And even if you can't have that real money as an emergency fund, pay off your credit cards. They can be used as your emergency fund in the case until you can get an actual savings
That's what
account.
we do. We use our credit cards as our emergency fund.
For right now. But as we grow more into our relationship and we get through a couple hurdles in the road, we will have our own personal emergency fund as well.
Yep.
So I hope everybody learned a lot.
If not, tell us more.
Yeah, if you guys disagree with something we said or agree or want to give more information, comment below, even so we can start a conversation, so we can talk about it. If you guys really do like this video, let us know. We would be fine with doing another one down the line. We are not perfect people. We are not perfect human beings. We make mistakes. We have made mistakes with our credit score, our loans, interest rates. We've done it too. We know how life is, and it's hard to keep up sometimes. And right now we're currently in a rebuild in our own way.
Yep.
When it comes to our financial decisions.
And one last thing, for the people that are going to jump all over us because of my political views, fuck off. I'm allowed my own opinion.
Well, yeah. And I think most people are in the same boat you are right now, where people are just tired. People are tired. They want a new government. And hey, I don't blame them. But don't forget to comment, and subscribe.
Look at you getting it all.
know. And we will see you guys next Sunday.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye, Newfoundland Labrador.